All right, the Padres, they've won 7 games in a row. They're 7 games over 500. Michael King shoved today. He didn't really allow 3 or 2 earned runs today. He pitched better than that. You know, reliever came in. What was it? Kolek came in after King had exited. Couple runners were on. I know that's how earned runs work, but that was just one of those where I look at, King goes 6 and a third, 2 hits, punches out 9. If you were watching this game, he was dominating this game. It just felt like he didn't deserve to have 2 earned runs put onto his line there today. But his last 5 outings, even with those 2 earned runs allowed, have been really good. Today, obviously, 6 and a third. July 21st, 7 innings, 1 earned run. July 10th, 6 innings, 1 earned run. July 4th, 5 and a third, 1 earned run. June 29th, 6 innings, 1 earned run. So the big starting pitcher piece that A.J. Preller acquired in that Juan Soto deal, look how that's turning out right now. It's, for me right now, my opinion, it's working out amazing. This is who we wanted Michael King to be, right? Someone we can rely upon. He was attacking the strike zone. He's working, I don't want to say super quick, but he's working quick, consistent, get the ball. He knows what pitch he wanted to throw. It seemed like they were going back and forth, King and Higgy, who was calling the pitches today against that Orioles lineup. I don't know if it was just when King got in a groove and he was like, all right, I've got it. And then he would hand it off to Higgy if he didn't feel that, or if he felt like, all right, I'm feeling this pitch, I'm going to call this. I don't know. But it was working. It's been working for, the last, month? Like consistently really good. So, I mean, this is what the Padres wanted out of him. And they have him under control, not just this year, but for at least next year. I think maybe a couple years. Definitely through next year. And when we acquired Michael King, what did Padres fans want? Reliable 3-starter, right? I don't know how many were expecting him to be looked at as a frontline starter, although that's how he's performing right now. He's performing like a frontline starter. It's to be determined if he will do that the rest of the year and what will he look like going into the postseason. Hopefully, the Padres make the postseason, which they're in a pretty good spot right now. I know the wild card race is still right there, but the Padres, they're going to buy before this deadline. There's moves that are happening. Estevez went to the Phillies. The Orioles added Zach Eflin. They added Sir Anthony Dominguez as well. Jazz Chisholm to the Yankees. There's stuff happening here. So we'll see what moves the Padres make. I would be shocked if A.J. Preller does not acquire anyone. The position that he's in, the position the Padres are in, like they deserve to have reinforcements come into this group. But Michael King, that's not a spot where the Padres are going to have to, replace him. He is definitely doing his job. The changeup, my goodness, that changeup has been so fun to watch, especially today. It was working. Was it the sinker? I think the sinker and the changeup, they looked almost identical. So pick that up out of Michael King's hand as you're standing there in the box. That's got to be super hard to do. So yeah, it's fun. He got hit, lower leg, bounced back, got a couple of strikeouts in that inning. I think that was the first inning. Then later in the game, there's the dribbler down the third baseline. Bare hand throws out Cedric Mullins by like half a step. Had to be perfect, and he was on that play. So again, right now he's pitching like that number 2 guy in a rotation when I think a lot of fans going in was kind of like Seth Lugo last year. Okay, he has started before, but mainly a reliever, transitioning to a starter role. All goes well, he'll be a solid 3-starter for this team. And that's what he's doing right now. 2-3 starter right now for this Padres team in terms of how he's performing. And then you got Waldron, you've got Cease, Musgrove, hopefully coming back here, late August. And then I hope that a couple of starters get acquired by AJ before this deadline. We shall see. I do want to get to a Garrett Crochet update. I will do that here in a few minutes. But I did want to touch on the offense. Yes, the Orioles gave the Padres some runs. Higgy with the pop-up. And Urias and Gunnar Henderson both were trying to catch that pop-up. That was a yikes moment for the Orioles. That's happened to the Padres at times. It's happened to, I feel like, every team in baseball at some point where things are just not going your way. and things are just not going the Baltimore Orioles' way right now. Later in the game, there was the error from Gunnar Henderson. Profar had the grounder, tried to turn the double play to end the inning. Gunnar, bad throw. Higgy scores. Now it's a 4-0 game. And obviously the Orioles weren't able to come back from that. But Xander and Manny were two big, and Merrill, I'll throw him in there. Profar got a couple of hits today as well. It was just a good overall offensive day. I think everyone in the starting lineup got a hit. Yeah, everyone in the starting lineup at least got one hit today. Bogart's 3 hits, Manny 3 hits, Profar had a couple of hits. Bogey, he had a double and a triple today. It wasn't like super triple off the wall, but he's finding gaps. And I talked about this, I don't know if it was on the show or a video recently, but Xander, he's not mentally going all the way right now. And what I mean by that, like his swing, he's not fully unleashing yet. It seems like in the field, he doesn't want to dive yet. It's just that mental thing that he has to get through. But if he keeps hitting like this, do we want him swinging fully? Where if he feels like if I swing full 100%, I might hurt my shoulder. The way it's going right now, trying to be like Luis Ariz, just taking it where it's pitched, hitting a bunch of singles, double, triple every once in a while, hitting for average. If Bogey's going to do that, and the guys that are in front of him can get on base, then Bogarts is going to be a very productive player for this Padres team, and he's going to help this team win, like he has been doing. Is it a coincidence that this Padres team has won 7 games in a row and Xander came off the IL recently? I don't think it's a coincidence. He's helping this Padres team win baseball games. Sure, there's like Profar coming up with big moments. The starting pitching has been fantastic, and they are probably the biggest reason why the Padres are on this winning streak, how great they have been. Because you can have a good offense, but if your pitching's not going to be there, then good luck. But Bogarts has definitely helped this team. And then Manny gets RBIs 998, 999, and 1,000 today with that 3-run homer. And what I loved, I don't want to say more than the 3-run homer because we all love homers, but I love a good hit and run, or run and hit is what it should be called, but we call it a hit and run. Profar goes, I think this is more like middle of the game. Profar goes to second, and Manny just takes it the other way. He really saw that ball deep, takes it the other way. Profar gets to third. Bogey brings in the run on the grounder that got past the third baseman. Was it an error? It didn't touch his glove, so I guess the Orioles could be, good to their third baseman, Urias, and just say, hey, that wasn't an error. It was a hit. But that probably should have been stopped. But you put the ball in play, good things can happen, as we saw multiple times. We saw that like 3 times today with Orioles mistakes. But I just love how the Padres were playing good fundamental baseball, not trying to do too much, take what the situation gives them. They've been doing that a lot this season. They did that with the hit and run. Merrill did that with the sac flies that he had today. It was just another good overall, great overall win, blowout win. These blowout wins, these are fun, especially when you're playing a team like the Orioles. I know they're not playing great. It's not Yankees level bad recently, but like they're not, 19 games over 500 because of how they're playing right now. They're 19 games over because of how they were playing, but it's still one of the best teams in baseball. The Guardians were one of the best teams in baseball, and the Padres have been able to win almost every game against those teams on this road trip. They've lost 1 game on this road trip, and it was the first game of the road trip. Won every other game since, and they have an opportunity to sweep the Baltimore Orioles tomorrow, and then they have a favorable schedule this week. I know it's the Dodgers, so maybe that's not super favorable, but what I mean by that is they got the Rockies. They have 2 off days, an off day Monday, an off day Thursday. Just 2 games against the Dodgers, not 3 or 4, and then the Rockies. So the Padres, they're in a good spot. We'll see what happens leading up to the deadline, and that's what I want to get into, because there was an article, I believe it was from Ken Rosenthal today, and he mentioned it was just a Garrett Crochet update. The Padres and Dodgers are believed to be among the teams still pursuing Garrett Crochet. Obviously, there was the report that came out about how Garrett Crochet, he wouldn't pitch in the postseason unless he has an extension, and that totally brings me flashbacks of Josh Hader just thinking of himself over the team. But Ken did bring up a good point in his article today, like, I have a hard time believing that he's gonna walk into the Phillies clubhouse or whatever clubhouse, let's say it's the Phillies, and say, "Hey, Bryce, nice to meet you. I'm not pitching in the postseason." I find that hard to believe that he's gonna walk into the Padres clubhouse and he's gonna sit there and tell Mike Schilt, "Hey, I'll pitch for you in the regular season, but I'm not gonna pitch in the postseason unless I have an extension." Don't know how well he's gonna do that to Joe Musgrove doing like, how's that gonna go over, when these guys haven't won a World Series before? Not gonna go over well great, right? But I still don't want that guy on my team when it's true. I believe it to be true unless it's proven that it's gonna be false. Because he talked to the media the other day, I wanna say it was yesterday, and he was pretty much no commenting, just saying, "I'm focused on pitching for the White Sox," and that's really that. He didn't deny the report. So this is it's the same agent, CAA, same agency as Josh Hader. I'm not saying that no way CAA would think of doing this. I mean, they thought of it with Josh Hader. I think it was Josh. I don't think it was Josh Hader. I think it was Josh's agent that brought up the possibility of that whole thing, limiting himself last year unless he has a contract. And I understand, these guys don't play baseball forever, but as a fan, and I'm allowed to think this way, I don't want that guy on my team, especially if I have to give up Leo DeVry for that guy and then more probably. I don't want to have a Garrett Crochet on my team if that's his mentality. Before he's even traded to a team, his mentality is, yeah, I'll pitch for you, but not in the postseason if I don't have an extension. Like that's all about himself. And maybe this is an agent thing and it's not a Crochet thing. And Crochet's just going along with it because the agent knows best, is maybe that's what Crochet thinks. And Hader did get his money from the Astros, but with this big steep package, just have AJ, run up the price for the Dodgers if that's the case. And Crochet, he may end up pitching well, and this whole postseason thing ends up not even being the case. But as I've said, there's no Juan Soto available at this deadline where I'm willing to give up as much as, the Padres gave up for Juan Soto. I don't think they'd have to give up that much for Crochet at Soto level, but there's no Soto type pitcher, if this makes sense, available at this deadline for me. Crochet's talented, Scooble's talented, but those teams are asking for the moon for those guys. And I think the Padres are just better off going and getting a depth back of the rotation arm. You know, if the Padres are going to go on a run, they're going to go somewhere. Who's going to step up? The guys that are in the rotation already, right? Dylan Cease, he's going to have to step up. Joe Musgrove, when he's healthy, he's going to have to step up. Michael King, Matt Waldron, those are the guys. Who knows about you, Darvish? That's why I didn't initially mention Darvish here, because he has the personal reasons. But like those guys, the trade deadline edition, the big starter edition, has already been made. It was Dylan Cease before the season started, right as the guys after they left for South Korea. That was the addition, and we just have him for all of next year, and we had him for all of this season. So, for me, focus on right-handed reliever. I think either Dennis or Kevin wrote about that recently, that right-handed reliever is what they're looking at. Maybe a bat. Depth starters, hopefully a couple. At least one. That's what I'm focused on. I'm not super in love with Crochet, to be honest. I'm just, especially with that whole report that came out, I already didn't want to give up a bunch for him, and now I'm just like, is it worth it? If the Padres acquire Crochet, I'll be like, okay, they're definitely trying to win, but I probably won't be as excited as, it's going to depend on the return, but I'm probably not going to be as excited if we got Crochet as I was for Soto, as I was, and I'll admit this, as I was in the moment for Josh Hader. because I didn't know what was coming with the limits in 2023. Um, Crochet could help this Padres team, and I think he would, right? Assuming he would be healthy. But there's question marks there with him.